In our last episode, we explored Russell Kirk's view that faith in God forms the foundation of American social order. Kirk distinguished between the inner spiritual order, defining what is good, and the outer political order, implementing that good. But here's the question. While God revealed what is good, how do we actually achieve it? What kind of political structure best serves this purpose? Neither the Old nor New Testament provides clear answers. Jesus simply said, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and God what is God's." So for practical governance, we must turn to Caesar, to secular political wisdom. When President Trump welcomed Italy's president, he remarked, "The United States and Italy share a heritage dating back thousands of years to ancient Rome." This wasn't just diplomatic flattery. When America's founders spoke, they quoted Cicero more than any other figure. Even today, America's upper legislative chamber bears the same name as Rome's governing council, the Senate. Why did America's founders look to Rome rather than Greece? Let's compare these ancient civilizations to understand why. Greece operated with independent city-states, each functioning as its own political unit. Though Greeks colonized widely across the Mediterranean, their cities remained separate entities, like individual olives in a bowl, never truly connecting. Each city-state represented a community of people rather than control of territory. Athens famously maintained extremely strict citizenship requirements. At its most restrictive, both parents needed to be Athenian citizens, and the child had to be legitimate to gain citizenship as an adult. Rome took a completely different approach. Rather than conquest alone, Rome practiced incorporation. Accept our rule and we'll make you citizens. This strategy drove Rome's expansion throughout Latin territories. While citizenship wasn't granted quite so freely in distant provinces, local elites could still obtain Roman citizenship regardless of their location. America, built by immigrants, faces the same fundamental challenge as Rome, creating unity from diversity. Ideally, all Americans would share the Protestant faith. But with immigrants arriving from everywhere, this wasn't possible. So America needed a secular foundation for identity, not based on ethnicity, history, or culture, but on a formal agreement between government and citizens. This became the Constitution. It's no coincidence that America created the world's first written constitution. It clearly outlined the rights and responsibilities of citizenship, spelling out in black and white the terms of American belonging. This remains so fundamental that even today, new citizens must pledge allegiance to the Constitution above all else. Both Rome and Greece struggle with the same core political challenge, balancing power between elites and common people. Rome initially granted all power to its patrician senate. But when enemies threatened and the plebeians refused to fight, let the mighty senate handle it. The elites were forced to compromise. Power was shared with the popular assembly, and the plebeians elected tribunes with veto power over senate decisions. This created a balanced system. The Senate controlled legislation, war powers, treaties, and appointments, but had to respect public opinion or face the tribune's veto. This system of checks and balances between elites and common citizens defined the republic. America's founders essentially adopted this Roman model wholesale. But America had no aristocracy. When Washington became president, John Adams suggested addressing him as His Highness, hoping to create an elected aristocracy. This idea was quickly rejected. Instead, they designed an alternative. Each state would elect 2 representatives to form the Senate, creating an aristocratic chamber through election rather than birthright. The House of Representatives, based on population, functioned like Rome's popular assembly, and the president, like Rome's tribune, represented the people directly. Beyond governmental structure, Rome gave America another crucial concept: natural law. The Romans humbly recognized that human-made laws could never match divine perfection. They distinguished between imperfect human laws, requiring constant improvement, and perfect divine principles impossible to fully codify but serving as guiding ideals. This was natural law. Cicero defined it beautifully. True law is right reason in harmony with nature, universal, unchanging, eternal. No senate or people can free us from its demands. It is valid for all nations and all times. Since divine law couldn't be written down completely, the founders created a constitution to guide and constrain ordinary legislation. The American Constitution emerged directly from Cicero's natural law concept. Cicero explained, "Natural law provides the moral principles by which communities build their shared life." This perfectly describes what a constitution does. America's Constitution serves as the bridge connecting spiritual values with practical governance. In this way, Rome provided not only America's governmental structure, Senate, House, and presidency, but also inspired the world's first written constitution. As T.S. Eliot observed, to the extent that we inherit European civilization, we remain citizens of the Roman Empire. While Rome provided America's architectural plans, Britain furnished its daily tools. The founders rarely mentioned this British influence, not because it was unimportant, but because it was so fundamental it needed no explanation. Like breathing or blinking, it simply existed. Kirk identified many British contributions: representative government, language, business practices, educational systems, and more. But Britain's greatest gift was its common law system. Why was common law so critical to America? For several key reasons. 1. Organic development. Common law grows naturally from precedent and custom, representing bottom-up rather than top-down order. This creates natural consensus between rulers and ruled, present and past, law and morality, making governance smoother and more legitimate. When facing technicalities, a civil law system can be manipulated by clever attorneys citing obscure statutes. But a jury of everyday people cuts through such deception with common sense. 2. Rights protection. When America inherited British common law, the rights it protected became America's first 10 constitutional amendments. The Bill of Rights, the heart of American liberty. 3. Property security. Common law protects property rights more effectively than statutory systems, facilitating America's commercial development and global trade. 4. Civic participation. The jury system sits at common law's core. This not only shaped representative government, but engaged citizens in public affairs. Tocqueville noted in Democracy in America that jury service provides both self-governance and civic education. Through jury participation, the spirit of law permeated all levels of American society. Over these 3 episodes, we've explored Kirk's The Roots of American Order. To summarize, Kirk divided order into internal spiritual order and external political order. Christianity established America's spiritual foundation, which then shaped its political structures. For practical governance, America drew from 2 main sources. Rome provided the governmental blueprint: Senate, House, presidency, and written constitution. Britain contributed its common law tradition, protecting rights and fostering civic participation. And that wraps up our exploration of Kirk's masterwork. This raises an intriguing question. In the struggle against Democrats, why did Hayek's market-focused conservatism falter so badly that it ultimately needed evangelical Christians to save the movement? I'm Oliver, and I'll tackle this fascinating question in our next video.